From starting as the mean, popular jock to becoming an adoptive mother of 6 children just out of the goodness of his heart, Steve Harrington is the hero we didn't know we needed. And while the rightly guided fans owe their allegiance to him now, there's one problematic scene that could have changed all of that.
Hidden Fortress, Children of Paradise.
You, go. Favorite movies?
Did I stutter?
Animal House, for sure.
Eyes on Me, Harrington.
Yeah,
Oh yes, you might know the Duffer Brothers as the show-making geniuses that can do no wrong, but apparently their initial plan was to make Harrington a villain and nothing else. So the Duffers have spoken a lot about how they wanted Steve to be just a one-season character, and they were actually going to kill him off at the end of the first season, but as it turns out, that was just one side of the story. Joe Keery recently revealed the other. So before taking him off the Hawkins census, the writers had planned for him to force himself on Nancy that night at the party. This was supposed to be a graphic scene depicting abuse that would then establish the high school jock's character as an evil villain. After this, of course, his death would have gathered no sympathy from the viewers. He'd be an evil person and get an evil person's ending in the story. So yeah, somewhere in a parallel universe, Steve is an unforgivable lowlife and Stranger Things fans hate him. And I'm glad not to be a part of that joyless, dark universe.
You know, it's a crazy idea, but have you considered telling the truth?
Oh, you mean that I couldn't even get in a tech and my douchebag dad's trying to teach me a lesson? I make $3 an hour and I have no future? That truth?
Because they're missing out on a lot, such as probably one of the best character developments in television. Look, I know Stranger Things got a lot of things right, but nothing beats the unbelievable journey that the King of Hawkins High had. For the better part of the first season, Kiri's face on screen meant only one thing to the fans: rage. He was a bully, a pretty cringy ladies' man, hanging out with a bunch of other bullies. But interestingly, there was a point in season 1 where you could already kind of see that there was more to this guy. I'd say it was when Jonathan gave him that whooping. He was still kinda annoying through the end of season 1, but you could tell he didn't have rotten morals like his friends. He was different, and well, the rest is history. Jonathan really smacked some character into him, because after that fight, Harrington started to change. Or as most fans believe, he became his true self: kind, brave, selfless, and protective of the kids. He went from being the character whose presence on the screen would mean trouble to the guy you'd want to see on the screen when there was trouble because he could save the day.
It's me! It's me!
Jesus, what's wrong with you, Sinclair?
I'm sorry.
He's the ultimate fan favorite now, and we wouldn't have any of that if the showrunners went on with their plan of making him a pure douchebag. But you've gotta ask, how could the Duffer Brothers take such a different path for a character they had planned to be the worst villain possible? Well, you've got Joe Keery to thank for that. This guy's service to the Stranger Things fans is just beyond measure. As if we didn't know him enough already for bringing that killer hair to the character, he recently dropped this new bombshell. He convinced the Duffers to let Steve be a decent character. The 30-year-old actor revealed in a recent interview that he didn't agree with the one-dimensional approach the show initially wanted to take with his character. So he gave the creators his own idea, that Harrington could be a bully on the outside, sure, but he should also be someone that means well deep down.
People who like boobies,
Ew,
Robin.
gross.
Boobies.
Don't say boobies.
Not a big deal, okay? I like boobies. You like boobies. Vicky likes boobies. Definitely.
A guy who knows what's right, but is held hostage by his desire to impress his outrageous friends. And it's safe to say that Keery knocked his performance out of the park. In fact, the very reason the Duffer Brothers were so easily convinced to make Steve a regular on the show was that Joe was just too likable and passionate about his role, and that was something they didn't want to lose. So, thanks to Joe, we now have a comfort character like no other. Now listen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it looks Looks like the Duffer Brothers haven't learned their lesson. Yup, they're dangerously close to demolishing the masterpiece they've built. Joe saved Steve from becoming an irredeemable villain the first time, but there are other ways to ruin a character, such as undoing the immaculate character development that took 3 seasons to build. Looking at you, Stancy's resurrection arc. Look, season 4 was great, alright, but a lot of fans out there were disappointed with what they did to Steve's character. Like, why is he trying to win Nancy back? Remember season 2? There was a point when Harrington realized Nance was no longer happy with him, and he himself told her to go with Jonathan, even though he still loved her. Remember?
Steve, what are you doing?
Somebody's got to go down there and check this thing out. Unless one of you 3 can top being a Hawkins High swim co-captain and a certified lifeguard for 3 years, then it's got to be me. No complaints, all right?
It's okay, Nance. It's okay. Moment, the Goslings were bumped. And it doesn't stop there. In season 3, he confessed to Robin that he was in love with Wheeler. But now he knows that wasn't what he wanted. He wanted someone like Robin, who, unlucky for Harrington, turned out to be the lesbian queen of Hawkins. So yeah, the point is that he's clearly moved on from his first love in season 3. Fast forward to season 4, though, and the guy who was selfless enough to let her choose Jonathan over him with Grace is out here telling her he wants half a dozen little nugget Harringtons with Nancy while he knows she has a boyfriend. That just goes against all the development our favorite dingus has gone through, and it's such a bummer. So why are they still pushing the Stancy agenda? There might be something sinister behind this. Yep, they wanted to kill him off in season 1, but didn't, thank God. But what if they're trying to build up to his death in season 5? See, most of the scenes between Nancy and Steve seemed kind of forced, but even more so, and you should know this if you know your horror stuff well enough, it all sounded like a goodbye, especially that monologue about him wanting to raise his children with Nance. That's a signature move from a character that's an inch away from biting the dust. Then the "you've always been there" scene, which fans found to be very out of character for Steve the Dingus Harrington. But then again, it's very out of character for someone who's about to die in the final season. Also, the way he's been babysitting the kids for the past 3 seasons and has become the internet's favorite single mother is also the tale of a hero who's going to meet his maker in an epic final battle. An overwhelming majority of fans believe Harrington and his mullet won't survive season 5. So when do we get to see what'll happen? There's still time, folks. Unfortunately, there's no way season 5 will come out any sooner than 2024. That's a 2-year gap after season 4. But as far as Steve's fate goes, it's most likely already sealed. Yes, the filming for the final season will begin around May or June, which means the script is wrapped up. The Duffer Brothers have promised a grand season with a vibe that'll be similar to that of season 1, with Will Byers once again being the main focus of the plot. The next season will also be very gory and scary, and the heroes of Hawkins will have much more to deal with than ever before. Now that's all cool, Netflix, do what you want, but if you do anything to Steve's character development, be ready for the fans to riot. Anyway, that was how the Duffers almost ruined your favorite Stranger Things character.